Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first developer log for Wow Such Games. If you don't know me, my name is Josh, and I'm the owner-operator of Wow Such Games. By trade, I'm a software engineer in the mobile games industry. You may have played a couple of the games I've worked on, like Trailer Park Boys, Greasy Money, or G.I. Joe War on Cobra. I'm currently working on Tomb Raider Reloaded, which is kind of a mobile remake of the original Tomb Raider games, but in a different gameplay style. Anyway, I started up Wow Such Games with the goal of creating a game and getting it published on Steam or Epic Game Store or Itch or any combination of the three or anything really. And hopefully, if things go well, we'll be getting our games onto consoles like Xbox or PlayStation. But those are, long-term plans. And today, I want to talk about the game itself. So the working title is Project Icarus. It's named after a pet rat I had at one point. It's a 2.5D puzzle adventure game, and it's got some light platformer elements. So let's dive right into the game here. I'll get it started. And we've got a little title screen here, Project Icarus, with a couple buttons. So I'll click play and drops us into the game world here. So immediately you can see that I can move around, I can jump, so I can jump up on this block here. I can do a little dash move that makes you go a little bit faster for half a second. I have a little hook shot that I can't use on anything in this room. And then I have this little, I'm calling it an attack ability, but it's not really an attack. It's just a way to like interact with stuff in a different way. Anyway, there's this little plate on the ground here. It's actually a pressure plate. And you saw when I stepped on it that these lines on the ground lit up. That means that they have power in them. And then that door opened. But you can see that it closes before I can get to it, even with a dash. So what I can do is press the B button to interact, and I can grab this thing and pull it down, this block, and place it on top of the pressure plate, which keeps that door open, meaning I can go through it. But I'm actually not going to go through that one. I'm going to come up here, and if I press B next to this thing, it opens up the door. So this is just like a little toggle switch. This would just be like a light switch. It's in the on position now, and now it's in the off position. So let's go up through this door, and we see that we have a couple more things. We'll look at the left one here. So this is actually a hook shot point. So I can use this when I use my hook shot, and it pulls me towards it, and I can use it from, different angles. So this is something that I'm going to use as a gate, an ability gate, because you're not going to start the game with the hook shot. You're going to have to find it. So I can place, gaps that that are too far for you to jump over, so you have to use the hook shot. And this thing is what I'm calling an impact switch. So this is where you would use the attack. You can attack this switch instead of interacting with it to open up this door. We come in here and we see some more power lines on the ground and some blue things, and then another one of these switches, which is hooked up to this thing, which is pointed at this thing, which is not supposed to be pink. But if you're a Unity developer, you know what that is. Anyway, I can interact with this by pressing the B button, and you can see it powers it up and shoots out a line of, like a beam of light, which turns on the power supply, which creates this like floating kind of a bridge thing that I can go across. And if I go and turn off the power, it turns off the bridge. So it's all kind of one big long chain of the switch to this emitter thing with this beam of light, which hits this thing, which has more power lines attached to it. And the cool thing is that I can walk in front of this and actually stop it with my face and stop that bridge from appearing. So if you had a big block, you could drag it around and push it in front of this for some reason if you didn't want there to be power. So that's that. And in here we can see we've got another switch hooked up to another thing, which is pointed over at this, which is kind of at an angle. And then another one of those impact switches. But I can't reach this one. It's behind a wall. But there's a hole in there, so that's kind of weird. So if we turn this on, this thing will shoot out this weird glowy ball thing, and then it'll bounce off there and hit that switch and open up the door for us. But you can see it shot another one, so if we let it bounce, oh, I missed it. So that's what's going to happen. We let it bounce and it closes the gate on us again. So what we need to do is turn the power off after it bounces. But in case we miss it, you can actually attack these things and get them to move in another direction. That's why they move so slow, is so you can catch up to them and attack them. So we'll leave that off so that it doesn't keep spawning. And we come up in here and we see we've got these stairs that leads up to this gap, but the gap's too big for us to jump across, and this thing kind of looks like it should be helping, but we don't really understand why it would help. But if we attack it, you can see it loses the handles and raises up to be a new platform. If we attack it again, it gets the handles back and I can move it again. So if I attack it, I can go back up this set of stairs, jump across, and get across that gap. And then I can even use it again if I wanted to, for some reason, use it as a step somewhere else. Now, this will, of course, be, it just looks the same right now. It's going to be a different type of block, a different color, different texture, probably a different skin and everything. So it's not going to look identical to the normal block. And here we have the last thing that I'm probably going to show you. You can see that these power lines, they have constant power. These are kind of like power generators. They're just constantly in the on state. They're always supplying power. But there's gaps here to these other pads, or these plates. So if we look at this block, you can see it's actually got a power line attached to it. So we can push it into the other power lines and turn on this pad here. This pad is actually a teleporter. So it's hooked up to this one here. And if I go and grab this block and move it over down to the one down here, you can see this one is connected to that. So we have teleporters. These are one-way teleporters, so I can't go orange to purple. I can only go purple to orange, and they require power. And they're always paired, 1-to-1. And I think, yeah, that's it. Everything that I wanted to show you today. So this is kind of the foundation for the game that I'm going to be building over the next probably year or year and a half, and got all the bones kind of. So if you're interested, you can follow this channel, stick with us on any of our social media channels, and see as we take this bones of a game, the skeleton, and start adding everything on top of it to make it into a fully fledged game. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you all soon.